Is menstruation a fault? No. Menstruation is not a fault in the female body. It is simply one of several reproductive strategies in mammals. Humans and a few other species evolved menstruation as a way to prepare the uterus for a possible pregnancy. It may look unusual because most animals don't menstruate visibly, but it's not a defect. It's just one method of reproduction. Do other animals have periods? Most mammals, like cats, dogs, cows, rabbits, they do not menstruate visibly. Instead, they reabsorb the uterine lining if pregnancy doesn't happen. This process is called estrous cycle. Humans, apes, some bats, and elephant shrews. These are the few mammals that have visible menstruation. So humans are not the only ones, but it is rare. Why did humans evolve visible periods? Scientists believe there are a few reasons. Highly selective uterus. Human embryos vary a lot in quality. The uterus evolved to be very choosy. Shedding the lining each month ensures a fresh, healthy environment for pregnancy. Energy balance. In our evolutionary past, it may have been more efficient to shed and rebuild the uterine lining rather than maintain it constantly. Hidden ovulation. Unlike animals that go in heat, humans don't show obvious signs of fertility. Menstruation became part of this system of concealed ovulation, which influences social bonding and mating. Bottom line, menstruation is not a flaw. It's simply a reproductive adaptation. Other animals evolved different methods, but both achieved the same goal: reproduction. You're right. For many girls and women, periods can be very painful, and it feels unfair compared to other animals. But here's why. Why periods can be painful uterine contractions. During menstruation, the uterus contracts to push out the blood and lining. These contractions are triggered by chemicals called prostaglandins. Higher levels of prostaglandins equals stronger contractions equals more pain. Narrow cervix. The cervix, the opening of the uterus, is small. Blood and tissue passing through it can cause cramping pain. Inflammatory response. The process of shedding the uterine lining involves inflammation. That's why some girls also feel back pain, headaches, or even nausea. Why do humans suffer more than animals? Bigger brain equals bigger head of baby. Human uterus and pelvis evolved differently, making reproduction more complex. Choosy uterus. Humans evolved to have a uterus that is very selective, shedding monthly to reset. Visible bleeding. Unlike most animals that reabsorb the lining quietly, humans expel it, which means more cramps, more blood, and sometimes clots. Can it be made less painful? Yes, pain is not something girls just have to accept. Relief can come from lifestyle. Warm compress, exercise, hydration, sleep. Diet. Less caffeine and salt. More omega-3 like fish and nuts, fruits, vegetables. Medicines. Ibuprofen or mefenamic acid, doctor-guided, reduce prostaglandins. Medical help. If pain is very severe, unable to do daily tasks, it could be dysmenorrhea, endometriosis, or fibroids, and needs a gynecologist's care. So yes, menstruation can be painful, but it's not a fault. It's a byproduct of human evolution. Other animals don't bleed like us, but their bodies face other challenges. Could God find a better way to reproduce human? That's a deep and meaningful question. Many people wonder why something as natural as reproduction is linked with pain and difficulty. Let's look at it from different angles. Biological, scientific view. Evolution doesn't design the best or most comfortable way. It just produces methods that work well enough for survival and reproduction. Human reproduction is complex because our babies have very large brains to be intelligent. This means childbirth is harder and pregnancy is more demanding. Menstruation became one of the ways to keep the uterus ready and healthy each month. From a biological perspective, it's not perfect. It's just what helped humans survive long enough to pass on genes. Spiritual faith view. Different religions and philosophies give different answers. Some say it's part of the natural balance of life, joy and pain together. Some see it as a test of patience and strength, where women are given special resilience. Others believe the suffering has a purpose we may not fully understand, but that the human body is still an incredible creation. Could there be a better way? If we imagine alternatives, yes. Like animals with estrous cycles, no visible periods, no pain. Or if humans could reabsorb the uterine lining without bleeding. Or if reproduction didn't require internal fertilization at all. Science is even exploring things like artificial wombs and fertility technologies that might reduce suffering in the future. A female have ovulation from 11 years till 50 years each month. What is the total ovulation in lifetime? Great question. Let's calculate step by step very carefully. Age range of ovulation. Starts around 11 years at menarche or first period. Ends around 50 years at menopause. Duration equals 50 minus 11 equals 39 years. Months of ovulation. 1 year equals 12 months. 39 years times 12 months equals 468 cycles. Adjustments for real-life factors. Not every cycle has ovulation, some are anovulatory. Pregnancy, breastfeeding, stress, health issues can pause ovulation. On average, a woman may actually ovulate about 400 times in her lifetime. Final answer. A female has about 400 to 468 ovulations in her lifetime. But for 2 or 3 kids are born in this lifetime, causing unnecessary suffering due to period. You've touched on something many women feel. So much monthly pain and bleeding, yet only a few pregnancies in a lifetime. Why so many cycles for so few babies? A woman is born with about 1 to 2 million eggs, but only about 400 to 500 ever mature and are released. Evolution didn't plan for just 2 to 3 children. In the past, women often had many pregnancies, 6 to 10 on average before modern medicine. In modern life, most women have fewer children, so it feels like wasted cycles. Relief and control today, contraceptive pills, IUDs, hormonal implants can reduce or even stop periods safely for years. Some doctors even call it menstrual suppression, choosing fewer periods in life. But it's not perfect cause autistic babies are born and it's increasing rapidly. Is reproduction imperfect? Yes. From a biological view, human reproduction is not perfect. Even though the uterus is very selective, it cannot guarantee every baby is born without health conditions. Autism, genetic conditions, or other developmental differences can still occur. Evolution's goal is not to produce perfect babies, it's simply to keep the species reproducing. Why are autistic babies being noticed more now? It may look like autism is increasing rapidly, but much of it is due to better awareness and diagnosis. Before, many autistic children were undiagnosed, labeled as shy, slow, or different. Now, doctors, teachers, and parents are more aware, so more children are identified correctly. Broadening of definition. The autism spectrum now includes a wider range of traits from mild to severe. Is there really an increase? Scientific studies show autism rates have gone up, but experts agree it's mostly due to diagnostic changes and awareness, not an actual explosion of cases. Imperfection in biology. No living system is perfect. Plants, animals, and humans all have genetic mutations and variations. Some conditions, like autism, are not simply faults. They are differences in brain wiring. Many autistic people have unique strengths: memory, focus, creativity, pattern recognition. So while reproduction isn't perfect, autism is not simply a mistake. It is part of human diversity. The reason we see more cases today is mostly because the world has become more aware and inclusive, not because something is going wrong suddenly.